Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, good day. My name is Kim Schofield, and I am your host today for Inspiration Tuesdays. Thank you so much for joining us for our third episode of Inspiration Tuesdays, which is a program that focuses on the importance of inspiration to survive and thrive. And we feature guests from around the world that are an inspiration to their industries, colleagues, and communities. Now today, be prepared to be truly, truly inspired. I am joined today by Brigadier General Anne Macdonald, U.S. Army retired and president of the U.S. Army Women's Foundation. And today we are going to talk about the role of inspiration in breaking down barriers and creating opportunities for women in the military and in industry. And welcome to Inspiration Tuesdays.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for asking me.
You have such an amazing and impressive background. What would you like our viewers to know about you?
Well, a little bit about me that I think is important is that I started off as an Army brat, and I am second generation military. My grandfather served, as well as my father, having served in the military and was in World War II, in the Korean War, and also in Vietnam. I served 31 years in the military as an Army aviator, having an opportunity to lead and grow teams. And then post-military was retirement. I continued to work where I've coached and facilitated leadership. And as you mentioned, I'm presently the president of the United States Army Women's Foundation.
So you were in the first gender integrated graduating class at Westpoint Military Academy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you said your family, you had a military family, but what inspired you to apply to West Point versus attending other universities and getting an international business degree or something to join the diplomatic corps?
Well, I have to say that going back to being an Army brat, when I attended high school, my family lived at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And there, being on a primarily military base, there was a lot of influence to continue to serve in the military, and that influence was brought to our guidance counselors. There was also a gentleman called Colonel Pat Menti, and he was a MALO, which stands for Military Academy Liaison Officer, and his job was to try to find the best qualified individuals to go to the academy. When we go back in time, in 1975, that was in May, the law was changed to allow women to go to the service academies. That was later signed into law by President Ford in the fall of 1975, which was my senior year. I was already heading on a path to go to a different, to go to a local school in Kentucky, when the guidance counselor, along with this Colonel Menti, approached me and asked, would I be interested in going to West Point? My initial response was, I'm not sure I'm a good fit. But after conversations and whatnot, I said, all right, I'll go ahead and I will apply. And so I found myself, along with another woman classmate, going through the physical fitness tests, going through the different tests and things that were required to go to West Point. And lo and behold, and I have to say this much to my surprise, I was accepted to the academy. And I knew that there was enough buzz about my going to West Point that when I was given an appointment, I knew I had to go. And I have to tell you, it changed my life forever. And while many challenges being in that first class, many setbacks shaped me into the person, the leader that I am today.
Wow. Well, your parents must have been so very proud, and you must have been very proud of yourself. That was quite an accomplishment. It's quite an accomplishment now, and it was even more so then. But I'd like to know, what was it like being in the first class of female plebes at West Point?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that regardless of male, female, the United States Military Academy is designed to be difficult. It is designed to be challenging for anyone who's going there. So I think all new incoming plebes, new freshmen coming into the academy are all exposed to something that's new and very challenging. This absolutely was the situation upon my arrival, along with my other. There were 119 of us who started in that first class. And that was the situation. It was new. There were opportunities, of course, but it was very, very challenging. Challenging on a number of fronts. There was the physical fitness aspect of Westpoint, which is extremely tough. There's the mental fitness aspect and trying to make sure that you are mentally, physically, and spiritually tough. That plays an important role in being successful at the academy. I would overall say that it was difficult, but out of that difficulty, out of those challenges, emerged opportunities to push myself to be better than I thought I could. To when people would say, no, you don't belong here, you can't do this, intensely motivated me to say, oh yes, I do belong here and I will show you I belong here. So there were a lot of great things. And as I said, planted seeds for me to become the person, the leader, the woman I am today.
You've been quoted as saying, 10% were very nice to us. 10% were mean as hornets. But you kind of knew where you stood. It was that 80% in the center who ignored you, who did nothing, wouldn't look at you, and gave you the silent treatment. That was the hard part. What do you mean by the silent treatment, Anne?
I think that when you, first off, that is very true, that when you are dealing with people and they are direct with you and you understand, here's the message and I'm receiving the message, that's great. I know where you stand with this 10% who were kind, thoughtful, encouraging. Then on the other end, that group who was mean, and maybe I could go so far as to say on some days cruel, maybe bullying. But when you have that wider group that doesn't indicate one way or the other, do I accept you? Do I not accept you? Are you friendly? Are you, it caused me anyway to always be on guard and to not know what I was dealing with. Now, again, that was a challenge, but the opportunity that came out of that is that it didn't matter. I learned I have to be the best I can be all the time and try to give it my best all the time. And so there was goodness in that, but it did cause anxiety until I learned how to deal with that.
I would say that being given the silent treatment exists and it will continue to exist to the end of time. What kind of advice would you give to women that have just joined the Army or young women in general about the silent treatment and how to deal with it?
You have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence in who you are. If these are the conditions, if this is the environment I'm going to work in, it's okay. I am going to, if this is the environment, I can't change that environment, I will change how I behave in that environment. There's a great study by Viktor Frankl, and he did work in the concentration camps back in World War II. And he had realized, given these men and women in these extreme, austere environment, what caused some people to be successful and to survive? Belief in themselves. that they can do it. And that's what I would say, that, believe in yourself and have the confidence. And if you don't, because there are days that you're not going to have the confidence, it's okay to go to somebody and say, hey, I'm having a bad day right now. Let's talk through this, because there are going to be times where things don't go well. And from that, I have to say, how do you respond to environments that aren't, what you would like? It was just like this 80% coming at me who wasn't saying anything. How do I respond to that? Well, I'll do my best to change them, but if I'm unable to change them, how can I change myself? How can I change my outlook in dealing with that? And I think it's very important to search out a mentor if you need one, or someone that you need to talk to when things get going, because there are going to be times when not everything goes the way that you'd like. And I could go so far as to say there are going to be times when there are failures and there are circumstances that are beyond your control. And it's how you respond to that challenge, how you respond to that failure is what's important.
Well, Anne, if somebody wanted to contact you or reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
I would say through the United States Army Women's Foundation. And we have a website, www.awfdn.org, and you can contact me there. And I would love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Anne, you are such a remarkable woman and one of the most accomplished, humble, and inspirational women I've ever met. You are a true pioneer, not just for women, but for anyone. And your success is such an inspiration to us all.
Thank you for your very kind words. I have truly been blessed, and I'm grateful every day for the experiences I've had. I'm grateful for the life that I have and the life that I'm living.
Thank you very much, Anne, for your insights. It was truly a pleasure. For our audience, you will be able to find this video and all of the other episodes of Inspiration Tuesdays on YouTube at Chief Inspiration Officer Kim Schofield. Our next episode will feature Shelley Brunswick, Chief Operating Officer of Space Foundation, and it will air on March the 2nd. This is Kim Schofield. Thank you again for joining us. Stay safe, be well, and go forth and inspire.